going on, boxing fans? It's Jordan Williams with The Distance. I'm gonna do all my videos this morning right after waking up. So anyway, this video is for this is a fantasy matchup between Iron Mike Tyson versus Sonny Liston. Requested by Tommy Gunn, 7111. So anyway, this is he actually requested this matchup a couple times, I believe. He even had down ESB, and I'm just gonna give my take on the matchup. I think that this matchup isn't necessarily your matchup of power versus power or strength, strength versus strength or whatever. Because Tyson was a pretty big puncher. Liston was a pretty big puncher, very big puncher, excuse me. But I think the advantage in this matchup for the winner is footwork. Tyson, I think, had the better footwork than Liston. Liston, kind of just tried forward and side to side, whatever. That was Liston's style. What set up Liston's knockouts was his left jab. He had the 84-inch reach. He could stand from a distance or a range and fire his shots off. It was the left jab, and even if he missed his left jab, it was still setting up shots, because sometimes it would offset other fires and he would follow it up with other shots. So with all that said and done, he would get the knockout. Sometimes by standing at a range, but at times and it was evident in the Ali fight, in the, I believe, Leo's Martin fight, that he could simply be outboxed, and beaten. Martin, landed, I think it was a counter shot that put him down in the Martin fight. And the Ali fight, he just simply got outboxed. Second fight, we all know he probably took a dive in the second fight in 1965. Liston, with that style, could have easily been out, not necessarily easily been outboxed, but any fighter who would box and use angles and beat him to the punch could just beat him. Against Iron Mike Tyson was a fighter who came forward, slipped multiple shots. He slipped about 2-3 shots to land 2 or 3. Tyson, actually had very good footwork for a fighter who came forward, for a fighter who kind of had his earmuffs on, and like I said, came forward and usually came in and landed hooks. Against Liston, the big question is this: will the Liston jab set up a possible knockout against Tyson, or would that come forward style and slipping shots frustrate Liston? We saw Liston had success, in that peekaboo style against Floyd Patterson. Another fighter who was trained by Customato. We all know Floyd Patterson, didn't really have that good of a chin. He had been down in the Johansson fight, multiple times. Johansson was a pretty good puncher, but and then Liston knocked him out as well. I think that one of the first fighters to use the peekaboo style was Patterson, and Patterson did a pretty good job of it. But I think Tyson did a bit better, because the way that he was able to come under shots, come from underneath shots, and come above the shots, and turn his right hand over, his right hand, and then he would come back with a left hand and a right hand. Was very impressive, and how fast his hand speed was to do it. In a fight like this, I do see Tyson's footwork frustrating Liston, because Liston was able to kind of try and move around and kind of just kind of come forward and come backward, but his lateral movement was a bit slow. I think Tyson, I really think that Tyson just continued coming forward, come underneath the 84-inch jab of Liston, and frustrate him and hit him with a few counter shots. I just think that Liston will probably get a few good shots on Tyson, maybe in the maybe in the probably in the third, fourth round, maybe. Liston would probably get a few good shots on Tyson, but I just see Tyson just continuing to come forward and continuing to land, his shots, land all kinds of clean shots on Liston, and eventually knocking Liston out in probably the ninth round. I would go with Mike Tyson, not based on power, not based on hand speed or anything. I'd say the number one thing in this matchup is footwork. I think Tyson's footwork provides a lot of trouble for Sonny Liston, a fighter who didn't necessarily have the best footwork. His footwork was a bit slow, and other than that, he did have good power. He did have good skill. He did set up a lot of stuff from his jab. But what would Sonny Liston have if that jab wasn't there? If the Sonny Liston jab wasn't there, he really didn't have anything. Because if his jab wasn't landing, it wasn't, he could land shots, without his jab, but he used his jab to bait you in. But if the jab, was consistently not landing, what does Sonny Liston have? Or if he's not getting a chance to, fire off his shots, or, he has a fighter who's constantly moving towards him, what would Liston do? And I think that Liston would be a little confused in a fight like this. So me, I'm gonna go with Mike Tyson, knockout in probably 8 or 9. But anyway, that's the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.